Let me ask you, are you looking for love in all the wrong places? Well, my next guest says just looking for love may be part of the problem. That you may be pushing away your Prince Charming and you don't even realize it. Well, she would know because she's New Jersey's matchmaker, and her name is Julianne Cantarella, and I'm excited to welcome her to the show. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how exciting, looking for love, and you're going to tell us how to do it.
Absolutely.
So I want to hear what got you into matchmaking.
Sure. So I'm actually a former therapist. I have my master's in social work, and I worked with very vulnerable populations before, as I say, the love business found me.
Yeah.
I'm married, which is actually very unusual for a lot of matchmakers tend to be single. But I'm married 21 years with my husband 26. And after the birth of my second child, I wanted to go back to work. I wanted to utilize my skills and my education. But I didn't want to work with the heavy populations I had been working with. And by heavy, I mean I was working with SPMI, which is severely persistently mentally ill, in a psychiatric day program.
Wow.
I had also worked with AIDS patients in infectious disease. And then I also did grief counseling and grief work with cancer patients and their families through hospice.
Okay.
So as they say, I was doing some heavy lifting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my husband actually came home with an ad for a small startup matchmaking company who's only looking for social workers to be their matchmakers because of our working with people, understanding people, our networking skills, and so he handed me the ad, and I looked at him like he was like,
right.
What is this?
Exactly.
And he said, you matched us well.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 other matches to my credit,
Uh-huh.
and they're still together with children.
How awesome.
It is. And I said to myself, you know what? I did match us well. I went on the interview, I got the job, and a passion was born. And that was over 13 years ago, back in 2005.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
yes.
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad that worked out.
It did. That worked out.
But so now you have your own place. Your own business.
I do.
So how did that come about?
My husband again.
Your husband. That's a good man.
He is a very good man, and I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
So after the birth of my third child,
Wow.
I didn't necessarily want to schlep into Manhattan anymore.
Yes.
Was a little tired of that, and I wanted to expand my services as well. So again, he said, open up your own place. Once again, I was like, what are you talking about? Because I always worked for someone.
Right.
I worked for someone. I didn't have my own place.
Yeah.
So it was a big decision for me to make.
Absolutely.
And when I did that, it was actually good because when I was in Manhattan, I saw a lot of things that didn't sit well with me in terms of serving clients. So when I opened up my own business here, I made it a very personal, hands-on business. I work really closely with each client. I'm not looking to be a big business. I'm not looking to be a huge factory.
Yeah.
I work one-on-one with my clients. I know them personally. I know every single one of them. If someone were to work with me, they would work with me. I don't hand them over to someone on a team.
Right.
And because the reason I chose to do it that way is because when I was in Manhattan, the small company grew very quickly.
Okay.
And what I was observing is that people were getting lost, and their needs weren't getting met. And their desires and for having a relationship wasn't coming to fruition.
Okay.
And
I feel like that's a very personal thing, a very vulnerable thing, that you're reaching out and you're looking for help. And if you're doing that, you're very serious about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm so thrilled you used the word vulnerable, because that's the one thing that I always take into consideration when someone comes to work with me. Having my background as a therapist and working in the field prior to getting into matchmaking and date coaching, I did work with a vulnerable population. But it doesn't escape me that when people come to me for help, to find love in their lives.
Yeah.
That they are vulnerable too.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting yourself out there. You're exposing yourself. There's fear and other things attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why I keep my business small, and
Mm-hmm.
because I give the support that other companies can't give. I have the insights to my clients that I know because I'm working one-on-one with them.
Right, absolutely. So let me ask you, I have a friend, and we were talking a little bit about this, and she's widowed, and she said she wants something to just happen. And I was talking to her, and I'm like, I understand that, because that's kind of old school, and we do want things to happen. Maybe we feel like that's the more natural way to do it, right?
As I say, it's more organic.
Right.
People want to have it happen organically.
Right, exactly. But I was explaining to her, you have your small little world you're in, and so it's difficult to meet people outside of that little bubble.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where you come in.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I'm so happy you addressed this because there is that thought process, that notion, that myth that if it's meant to be, it's going to happen.
Right.
Or if it can happen organically, I'm not going to search for it. And I don't agree with that. I think like anything else in life, you have to make things happen. If it's something you really want, whether it be losing weight, getting a job, you have to work for it. You have to put the energy in. You have to have some skin in the game in order for it to come to fruition.
Right.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
That you need to get out and make it a priority.
Well, I want to hear exactly what you do and how you do it, and it sounds like you do the groundwork, so
I do.
Please tell us,
Sure.
what it is.
Through my company, New Jersey's Matchmaker, I offer two services. Of course, one is matchmaking, and the other is date coaching. I'll start with the matchmaking because I'm very different from a dating service. I am not a dating service.
Okay.
Dating service is truly where people come, they're put into a database, and who's ever in the database, that's who they get matched with.
Okay.
Not a bad thing, just my personal approach is, again, personalized.
Right.
So when I represent my clients for matchmaking, I meet with every single one of their introductions.
Okay.
As I say, I date them before my client does.
That's great,
when I'm vetting.
Yeah.
So I sit down with every single one of my clients' introductions to determine if they share the same goals, the same values, the same relationship vision. And if they do, then I feel confident and comfortable to make the introduction.
Okay.
I will tell you, a more traditional matchmaker's model is that we represent men for matchmaking. So men come to me, they hire me, and I go out and conduct a selective search on their behalf. So there's an opportunity for women to join my Rolodex for free.
Right.
I truly don't charge. I try to be as transparent as possible with those women who reach out to me. Because I am a small business, they can join my Rolodex. They may not hear from me right away.
Right.
That is because being on the smaller side, I'm not it's not a revolving door. I'm not Match.com.
Right. Of course.
So, but I set expectations. I'm very transparent, and I let the women know that when I have a right match, they'll hear from me.
Right.
Then.
Well, and you don't want to waste their time either.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I know for myself, if it were me, I wouldn't want to send my information or contact someone and then have it end up in an abyss, not knowing what's happening with it.
Right. Of course.
So I'm very clear with what the process is.
Okay. Good.
Now, I've had so many women say to me, "What can you do for me?" I'm very proud to say that I created a very unique and boutique date coaching program.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people don't realize what date coaching is. They hear date coaching and they're like, I don't need coaching. I don't need help with that.
Right.
And, not to sound accusatory or judgmental, a lot of people look at it as a negative. And I would encourage people to look at coaching as a positive. It's support in an area that is sometimes difficult to navigate.
Yes.
And when you're dating alone, or as I say, in a vacuum, you may make mistakes or settle for bad behavior and not even be aware of it because you have no one to process it with, or even help you learn those skills to set expectations or limits and boundaries. That's where I come in.
Right, right.
I help people set those limits and boundaries.
Well, I think, there's a lot of women, whether they're divorced or widowed, and they haven't dated for a long time. It's hard to get back into that and to know what to do and what to expect. And dating is very different now.
Oh, very
absolutely different.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Yes, so to understand what you are getting yourself into a bit, and what to expect.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I think coaching is so great, because it's such a wonderful support as you go through the process of re-entering the dating world. I mean, a typical client for me is, typically, but I do have younger, is someone over the age of 37 who's divorced, widowed, come out of a long-term relationship, and does not know how to navigate the modern dating world.
Yes.
So I help them do that.
Okay, and that's women that you help do that, or women and men?
I do women and men now as well.
Okay.
I used to I used to work with women and men. Then I kind of just excluded it for women.
Okay.
But over the last year and a half, I've had more men reach out to me and say, hey, I need support here too.
Yeah.
So I have opened it up again to men.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
So what is the coaching program?
Sure. Okay. So my coaching program is 6 months long.
Okay.
I work one-on-one with my clients for 6 months.
Okay.
And when I created this program, of course I did my due diligence. I was looking at what else was out there, and I saw where the gaps were. And what was happening is people were going through good programs, learning skills and tools, but they weren't able to put them into play.
Okay.
I found that counterintuitive. So what I did is say, how can I get my clients out and dating, learning the tools, and then hopefully having a relationship come out of the process? So I didn't have to look far because there's online dating.
Yeah.
Many people are turned off by online dating, and people are shocked to find out that I love online dating.
Okay.
Because when done the right way, I've had clients, you can go to my website and see, I have many, many, many clients. In fact, I worked with 15 women last year. 11 ended up in committed relationships.
Amazing.
With men they met online, with my coaching.
Okay.
But it's also something you need to think about is marketing. Marketing is key to the process. And when I was doing my due diligence, I realized that. So what did I do? I have 3 photographers who work for me, professional photographers.
Okay.
They're my people. They've been with me since 2011. So all of my clients get a photo shoot. It's 2.5 hours long. It's 4 wardrobe changes.
Okay.
I have an outline of what they should and shouldn't wear to the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And I actually come to the photo shoot.
Okay, great.
Very different from other programs and other coaches out there, or dating coaches. Again, I'm very hands-on.
Yeah.
So I go to every photo shoot. My photographers are professional. This is what they do for a living. So I know that it's not a friend with a camera or a boyfriend with a camera. And they trust me implicitly. But I also know, getting back to the vulnerable piece, having your picture taken is you're very exposed.
Exactly.
Many people feel uncomfortable.
They're very uncomfortable, that's true.
So I go to the photo shoot to kind of take a little bit of the edge off of that.
And I'm sorry, hair and makeup?
Hair and makeup's included.
All right, because that's very important.
You are right. I'm glad you said that. Because it's true. I have fantastic makeup people. My main woman is Mary.
Okay.
And she's just wonderful.
Okay.
And I actually did a full study in body language. So not only do I come to the shoot to give support, help pick out clothes, because clothes are all really, really key to the process. People don't realize that there's the right colors. Not only is there the right lighting for the photography, but there's the right colors. But I make sure we're getting the right expression.
Yeah.
I mean, my clients are making an emotional investment in this process. I want to make sure we're getting what we need to make sure that we're marketing them right online.
Yeah.
So I do. I make sure I look at the camera. We stop in between.
That's great.
But I do. I'm very, very particular about what my
because you want to be. You also want to be real as far as you don't want to put up that old picture, and then you go on a date and it's not the person that is in that picture. So
exactly, that's really
the real
important.
you comes out in that photo shoot, and it's current photo, and that's important. Yeah.
And what I'm doing is I'm presenting the best version of you. You really want to make sure that essence of you is shining through.
Yeah.
And it's really important. Your photo determines 94% of your success online. People don't realize that.
Yeah. Because you're the product, right?
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
And I also have a profile writer. Her name is Kathy.
Okay.
She's been with me also since
important.
2011.
Yeah.
Right, because the written needs to be well done as well.
Yeah.
And it has to reflect your individuality.
Right.
So those are the key components. And then what I do is once those pieces are in place, I do an assessment of the client. I uncover any self-limiting beliefs, any negative patterns of behavior, anything that's getting in front of them from finding that person, from moving forward. And I work with that on that with them during the process.
Yeah. And with your background, that really it's important because I think that women, if they're just divorced, I mean they're in such pain, they're not believing in themselves, right? It's like bringing them out of that and bringing the best version of them and believing in themselves again. Yeah.
It's funny, I've seen more clients transformed from their photo shoot with me because, to your point, they're coming out of a very difficult situation, whether it be divorce or being widowed or even losing a long-term relationship.
Yes.
And your self-confidence and your self-worth is a little shaken.
Absolutely.
But when my women and men see the photos of themselves, which we do not do any photoshopping. I mean, I want them to have good first dates.
Yeah.
But they see those photos and they're like, wow, that's me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's you. You're gorgeous.
Yeah.
You're not only are you beautiful on the inside, you're beautiful on the outside. And we are going to get you out there and dating.
I love that.
Yeah, I love the matchmaking. It's a lot of fun. I meet wonderful people and I get to represent really, really quality men. But there's something about the coaching that really is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because it's a different relationship and I get to see the incremental changes that happen over the 6 months.
Wow.
And then when they come out in a healthy, committed relationship, what more could I ask for?
I know how rewarding that must be.
It is so rewarding. It's wonderful. It's just a true. It's just. I love it. I can't even put it into words how much I enjoy it.
It's just helping somebody to find love, and we all need and want love, right?
Yeah.
And you're helping that to happen, and when you see the success in that, like that's joyful, right?
It is.
Joy for you and joy for them. So, I just want to ask you really quickly. So, if the man, say there's a gentleman watching this right now, and they're like, "Oh my God, I want that help." So they reach out to you, and what's the process?
So basically, we just start with an in-person meeting.
Okay.
So that I get to know them. I do a full background on where they've been, where they're going, and what they want to achieve.
Okay.
And then now is this for matchmaking or the date coaching?
This is the matchmaking. Okay. So so there's a gentleman watching, and they're like, I want this help.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I meet with my client. I get to know who they are. I find out their goals, their values, relationship vision.
Okay.
And then the process starts where I go out and I network. I recruit. I do have 2 women who recruit on my behalf.
Okay.
They have nothing to do with the vetting process. That's all on me. But they direct women to me to be matched with my men.
Right.
And then I vet every single one of my clients' introductions. And
Okay.
I've met with upwards of 16 women
Wow.
before I make my first introduction for my
Oh,
client.
wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's really time intensive.
Right.
It's not just, I call, here's
Yeah.
Mary.
Right.
I really do a lot of work behind the scenes with them before. And
All right, guys, that sounds good.
and I offer, and this is just what I do naturally, it's a
Mm-hmm.
concierge service where I actually set up the date. So all of that stress is taken out of it. I have nice relationships with a lot of
Yeah.
restaurants in New Jersey.
Okay.
So
You can
I
set up a
I
really
do.
nice romantic evening. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So what are some of the common themes that you see?
Oh, that's so hard because
Yeah.
typically what I find is when everybody comes to me, they're a unique individual
Yeah.
with unique set of needs and experiences. And of course that is going to reflect how we're going to proceed. I do see very often there is a natural desire for people to want instant monogamy. The idea of dating is almost painful. You know, having to get out, having to go on the date. It's like exhausting before they even get to think about it.
Yeah.
But what people need to realize is that you need to be out and date. And in fact, I encourage my clients to be out and dating. Through my coaching program, they're not allowed to jump into an instant relationship or have instant monogamy, because then what can happen is you're missing, if there are any red flags and bad behavior. You don't want to be 6 months into it and go, I have to go back out and start this whole process over again.
Right.
You want it to be a one-time process where you're out, you're dating, you're comparing, you're contrasting, you're seeing who is the best fit possible so that you can proceed into a long-term committed relationship.
Right. What would you tell someone, though, that wants to fall in love so desperately, right? And so they start dating someone, or they go out on 1 or 2 dates, and then they're like, well, where's this going?
Thank you. I would tell them to relax.
Right.
Take a step back. Enjoy the moment and get to know the person. You are not going to know on 2 dates. People say, it's...
Right.
I have worked with more people who have realized on the 3rd and 4th date that, wow, there's something really special about this person. There's more to this person than I realized.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they do something like really inappropriate on a first date, or something that makes you feel uncomfortable for your safety, give them a second date.
Right.
Give them a second date so that you can learn who this person is sitting in front of you.
I think that what I have found is that a lot of women will be like, well, he's not my type. So like, well, all right, so there is one type maybe you're attracted to, but what really is your type, I mean, there's no Prince Charming, okay? Maybe you like dark hair, but hey, if somebody has lighter hair, they may be a really great guy, and you're missing out.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for shedding light on that. And typically what I see is when women, in terms of type, like I'll tell you that for women, height is an issue.
Okay.
Like if a man isn't over 6 feet, I have women contacting me who are 5'2".
Okay.
And they're like, I won't date, and they'll put in their comments, I'm not going to date anybody who isn't over 6 feet tall. And I can't help it, but I like cringe on the other side of the computer. I'm going, really? You're really limiting yourself.
Yeah.
Because a man's height is not a measure of his masculinity.
No. My husband is not 6 feet tall, and
nor is my
he
husband.
is very masculine and strong,
Yes.
and
loving
very
and-
secure and loving.
and cherishes you, I'm sure.
Absolutely, he does.
That's what I think people are missing. That it's not their height. It's how are they going to treat me?
Yeah.
Are they going to put me first? Are they going to make me a priority?
Right.
Are they going to make sure my needs are met?
Yes.
he may not be 6 feet tall, but he may be able to do all that for you.
Right, absolutely.
Of course, there has to be chemistry, but I think to your point, maybe you have to shed those ideas of what your type is.
Right.
And look to another possible type.
And how's that been working for you?
Right. Yes. How has that been working for you? So true.
Yeah.
So true.
So one thing you said that I thought was really cute. What's the cuddle chemical?
Oh, okay.
What is that exactly?
So, well, that goes back to the monogamy piece to things.
Okay.
What I, along with not being monogamous right away, is also not having sexual intimacy right away. Why I prefer my clients to wait as long as possible to become sexually intimate with their partner is because once women become sexually intimate with their partner, they become bound to their partner. So, and that's typical of women.
For women, yeah. It is true.
And we actually really do release a
We
hormone.
can't just cut it off. Yeah. Oh, we do.
That's because we can't cut it off because we're not only emotionally invested, but
Right.
we're truly biologically
How
invested.
interesting.
We release a hormone when we have sex. It also happens for women when they breastfeed, and it's a bonding chemical.
Yeah.
And it's the cuddle chemical, or the love hormone, and it's oxytocin. And why that plays into relationships so largely, and people don't realize it. What happens as women, once we have sex, then we're bound to the gentleman, and if his behavior isn't up to par, we excuse it away, reframe it, find another way to define it, and just accept bad behavior because we are bound to the men. So that's why I encourage my clients, and I really haven't had pushback. They question, they're like, a man in their 40s or 50s or 60s is going to wait to have sex? And that's when I say, a man will. A boy won't.
Right. Interesting, yeah.
So
that makes sense.
It does make sense. So men will wait.
Okay.
The right man will wait. Believe me, I have...
And the right man will wait.
Yes.
So if it matters, they will wait.
Oh, believe me, and they do.
Okay. So I've heard you say that many women extinguish a man's positive behavior. So tell us about that.
Yes, that's a huge crime. Because, you may have heard women say, in the beginning of our relationship, he, or when we were first married, he would take the garbage out, or he would do this. And when I dig deep and I find out and what was going on there, many times I find that women are extinguishing the positive behavior by either saying, oh, don't do that, I can do that, don't worry about it, or by saying, perhaps they didn't do it exactly the right way we wanted them to do it.
That kind of happens a lot.
That does happen a lot. And so then what happens is the man kind of listens to what you're telling him. Oh, I can do it, you don't have to do it, so don't worry. So then he'll be like, okay, then you can do it. And then, a year or two into it, you're saying, he used to take out the garbage. He used to do, and where if we look, you're the one who's extinguished the positive behavior. Now, I'm not blaming or shaming anyone. It's just bringing awareness to your behavior, to your actions as to how, you might need to change going forward in relationships.
So you talk about this because if you're going into a new relationship, you maybe want to be aware of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And I work with a lot of very strong, independent, self-sufficient women who bring a lot of, I'm just going to say masculine energy into their relationship.
Okay.
And I work very hard with them to embrace the feminine. It's really important for them to, yes, at work, it's fine for you to be successful and learn how to navigate that business world. But when you go into a romantic relationship, that needs to change. You need to shift over to your feminine energy. You have to remember, men, that's their role.
Yeah.
They're bringing that masculine energy into the game.
Yes. Yeah.
That's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if women show up with the feminine and the masculine energy, there's no room for them.
Right, gotcha.
So we need to remember, in business that's fine,
Mm-hmm.
in romantic relationships it's not.
I think that's a great tip.
Yes.
Something we all need to think about.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us about New Jersey's Matchmaker, what you do, how you can help. So please, guys, if you're looking for love, reach out to Julianne Cantarella, New Jersey's Matchmaker. We'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.